This might be corny as hell, but I like Tim Allen. And I especially like the original. Keep it straight. The original Santa Claus movie, okay? It is one of those things, I've been told, okay? I was too young to really know about it because it came out in 1994. Apparently, my dad took myself, we went to the theater to go see it, okay? So I've seen it in the theaters, and then also for as long as it's been out on home theater, okay, we had the VHS copy, we had the DVD copy, I'm pretty sure I got an entire the anthology, however many there are at this point in time, okay? Now, I've got them on Blu-ray right now. Every Christmas Eve, okay? A little insight into my family here. We gather around, we watch a couple of Christmas movies. More recently, it's been The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the original animated 1967, 64, something like that. The 60s, okay? That one, watch that one, the half-an-hour classic, okay? Because the Jim Carrey one. Actually seen that one in theaters, too. Not that great, okay? It doesn't have any staying power. And then also National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, classic. You can pretty much recite that one off rip and watch that for as long as I can remember. But Christmas night, you watch the Santa Claus. Everybody has their own little Christmas traditions, and maybe I should have saved this one for, when I got the decorations up. But they'd be up by the time that this video gets released, but not at the time of recording. A little bit inside baseball on this one. But Tim Allen was pretty much a staple of my childhood. I hate to make these arguments, okay? But like so many other people that grew up during the 90s or was around during the 90s, Tim Allen was everywhere, okay? He was one of the top stand-up comedians that was out there on tour. He had books, he had specials, okay? And then also all of that right at the centerpiece was Home Improvement, okay? I remember watching that all the time. It was syndicated. Catch old reruns, I think on TBS. It sounds about right, okay? Especially coming back from school and then catching the new ones in the evening. Okay, you had Al, you never saw his face until after the series finale. They had the little half an hour, just bring the cast all back together, and then he finally came out. He had the little fence on a stick, and then he dropped his face like, oh my god, we didn't know who this guy actually, we didn't know what he looked like because this was prior to the internet. Home Improvement was huge. Really like Tim Allen, okay, and especially talked about him earlier this year as well, especially with the Lightyear debacle and Chris Evans not being a movie star. It's like, why did you replace Tim Allen? It's just a voice film. It's like, it's not even live action, okay? He is Buzz Lightyear at the end of the day. And he was very complimentary about Chris Evans. It's like, okay, he's fine and all that stuff, but Buzz Lightyear he's not that. I don't know what Disney was doing on this one. I wasn't consulted on any of this stuff, but apparently he was not exactly on the skids with Disney because they're putting out, I guess it's going to be a D+, little limited release show leading up to Christmas. Where it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense because, oh my god, Disney's just on a content churn from Star Wars to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How many different projects have come out this year? It's nauseating at this point in time. But as for Disney's bread and butter content, not a whole lot. So why not? It's Christmas or the holiday season. So why not just, I don't know, just taking a look at through some of the things that they haven't, some of their old classic cartoons that they haven't made live action yet, and just skipping over to what have we done that's live action that we can continue to make into a franchise? Santa Claus? What can we do? Okay, so he's found a wife. Then he got married. It's like, okay, what do we do now? Oh, he's got a family, and I guess he's going to be working to pass on the Santa Claus, which is going to be kind of awkward because if you know anything about the original film, the only reason that Tim Allen became the Santa Claus is because the original Santa fell off the roof and never got to the end of that whole situation. I know that there was a couple of, fill in the gap answers in some of the subsequent films. I know I watched the second one, and the third one had Martin Short as Jack Frost. Garbage film. I can tolerate the second one, okay? The second one's all right, but the third one, it's definitely a show. But I've always thought that Tim Allen, maybe it's just that nostalgic kind of association with, being so instrumental in a lot of the entertainment that I seen when I was growing up, but I kind of got a fondness for Tim Allen. He's got a proven track record of success, longevity in the business, okay? He's good at what he does, but unfortunately for some of the activist class that are out there, especially Disney, he doesn't vote the same way that everybody else does. So we need to find a way to try to needle him and get him out of this project. Okay, make this a limited release show. Try to make next year's run of the Santa Clauses. Okay, just try to recast it with somebody who's a little bit more malleable and isn't so vocal with his hateful opinions. Trump supporter Tim Allen. That's funny. Not legendary comedian, actor, voiceover artist. Okay, no, he's a Trump supporter first and foremost. You'll love the media spin right now. Trump announces his candidacy for 2024, and anybody who has a tertiary affiliation with number 45 is automatically cast in that light. So that just immediately kind of makes me gravitate towards Tim Allen once again. Causes Twitter uproar over the Santa Clauses joke that saying Merry Christmas has suddenly become problematic. Okay, and like I said before, right off rip, I said this might be a little bit corny, mostly because, okay, that would have been a hot take back in 2010, 2011, back when everybody was really pushing Happy Holidays over Merry Christmas. It's like, if you're going to be bringing that up in 2022, it's kind of dated, but at the same time, you know, it kind of bothers some people, but then it's also very noticeable, especially with the different verbiage that's out there and the different branding. Okay, because for every other culture's holiday seasons, whenever they come up, like Diwali in the middle of the summer or some shit like that, there's a bunch of different ones that are out there. It's always happy, the different cultures holiday or different cultures season that's out there. But when you get to the big one at the end of the year, okay, like you'll have, you know, Happy Easter. Thanksgiving will be kind of tenuously looked at, but when it comes to Christmas, no, it's the holiday season because some activist made up that Kwanzaa shit, and I think the Jews light a candle somewhere. Go ask Kanye. I'm not even entirely sure where that comes up, but this would have been biting commentary a decade ago, but now if this is being taken seriously, this is just, you know, a hit job on somebody who's affiliated with Trump. Let's keep it a buck. Tim Allen, who has been open about his support for Donald Trump, like not so much, not like other, you know, like Hollywood elitists who are like, I'm Democrat no matter what, and you know, always wear their abortion rights t-shirts. It's like, oh my fucking God, shut up. Nobody cares. All he has said before is that he's conservative minded. Okay, he doesn't like the direction of the country under Democrats. He's just kind of, you know, when asked about it, he'll answer it, but he'll never lead with his politics, you know, like people used to do prior to, I would say, Barack Obama, but tomato, your mileage may vary. But yes, has been at the center of social media uproar after joking that saying Merry Christmas has suddenly become problematic on a new Disney Plus miniseries, The Santa Clauses. Interesting. Okay, that was something that made it to Disney Plus. It must have been, it's like, okay, we know that Disney's hemorrhaging money, announcing a hiring freeze, all that jazz as well. So they're kind of desperate, and like for the masses, Tim Allen does have appeal. It's just weird knowing the rest of the shit content that they put out that they would allow even that tepid joke to slide. Interesting. Despite it being a scripted show, many took to Twitter to blast the 59-year-old star for his political beliefs, with one user even writing, "Oh my God, Santa had the red hat all along and we just ignored it." That would actually be clever. That would be very clever, and it's also going to inspire this thumbnail 1000%. In reference to the Make America Great Again cap that made famous by former president and future president Donald Trump. Allen has returned to his role as Scott Calvin, who took over as Santa Claus in 1994 flick The Santa Claus. No joke, I have seen that film, well, came out in 94. I'm 32, or think I've probably missed two or three Christmases where I haven't seen the film, so that's how many times I've seen it. I love Christmas, and I'm a big fruitcake when it comes to, you know, the Christmas season. I like to do all of that kind of goofy jazz. It's my favorite time of the year, like bar none, hands down. But yes, is the flick The Santa Claus after accidentally killing the red-suited gift giver. Then he climbed up on the roof after he put on the trousers on the rose such a clatter ladder. He got into a fight with Blitz, and I like the show. Some of the jokes are oof, but has a soft spot in my heart. But oh, it's already out. I wonder how long this series is. I don't really care, and I'm not going to watch it because I don't have a subscription to Disney Plus, because I don't support groomers, but okay. Of her new Disney Plus miniseries, which began streaming its first 2 episodes on Thursday. So by the time that you guys see this, what, a couple of weeks ago at this point in time? Maybe, I don't know. One particular scene has rubbed many the wrong way as Galvin is asked if something is bothering him, as he replies that he's fine, except for saying Merry Christmas to all has suddenly become problematic. Okay, but what does it mean in the context of the show? Like, in the grand scheme of things, this is Disney, and I don't know if they would even let something just this tepid go forward, so and I don't even know what kind of a storyline, like, I can't even really theorize what that would be, other than, like, it could be this hack because I just immediately thought of it, and it's like Christmas spirit is just really down in the area, and nobody likes to, you know, celebrate the season anymore, and saying Merry Christmas to all just ends up getting some sort of a sideways glance. It's like, oh my god, what's there to actually be merry about? Which, if somebody took that as offense and then just put out that opinion on Twitter, would also be kind of funny in and of itself. It's like nobody has any sense of humor anymore, and it's like, well, what do you mean? What's there to be happy about? Classic social media. This filmmaker and podcaster Scott Weinberg, oh my lord, who produced 2020 sci-fi flick Skylines, I'll take your word for it, started the conversation on the microblogging site saying Merry Christmas to all suddenly become problematic. Actual dialogue from the new Disney Plus Santa Claus series starring Tim Allen. Okay, so some one-off dork who has a producer credit from a film that nobody's seen was mad in his blog. Okay, cool. Good publicity for the show, I guess. One user shed light on how Alan's character took the role of Santa Claus in the first place and then replied, Merry Christmas to all suddenly become problematic character who literally killed Santa. No, that was incidental to the situation. He would have never been acquitted in a court of law because he noticed somebody was trying to break into his house on his roof. He just yelled up to him and said, hey, and then he just, the big Santa got startled, fell off the roof, and the rest of it's history. And assumed the mantle of his power. This has to be a fucking troll job. Like, I do not get it at all. You know what? His costume, like, okay, the suit has always looked good. Like, if this is a still from the show, the beard and the hair looks a lot better than it did in, because, again, like, I only seen it once. I think I've probably seen the second one twice or 3 times. But the beard and the hair and all of the makeup looked really good in the first one. It looked presentable in the second one, and then the third one is an affront to mankind. Okay, that one's actually problematic. If we're gonna bestow that label onto anything, yo, it was made on a shoestring budget. But Scott Weinberg, who's so proud of his own movie that he needs to use aliens as a profile picture. Okay, cool. And if he was making legit criticism, like, again, I said that it's kind of boomer logic that in 2022 somebody is saying that, but I don't know if he's just trying to be, you know, big mad about this stuff. Christmas to all of a suddenly become problematic character who literally killed Santa Claus. Sean Kelly. Oh my god. They always look the same, okay? Shitty beard, round face, and probably drives a panel van. To be fair, we say happy holidays because we don't want to offend people who celebrate Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. Are these real? Is this real life? Have you ever felt like? I think that just shows how muddled messaging and doesn't really know what it wants. And again, that's the social media argument. Okay, you say something nice to somebody, but somebody's immediately mad at you for not including their own pet project. It's like, okay, by percentage, how many people celebrate Christmas as opposed to Kwanzaa and Hanukkah? You also forgot Ramadan, you fucking bigot cocksucker, and you deserve all of the rocks from Abdul in the world. Oh, 2 can play at that game. Captain Mr. Epic. Oh my god, a random profile picture guy. A hateful goatery, as he goes by on Twitter. We don't say it not to... Oh, we don't say it to not offend. We say it to include. We say it because we acknowledge there might be things out there that we don't personally observe, has nothing to do with offense. Yo, and he ratioed the fuck out of these dudes. Like, this is not going over well for other people. Like, as you can see, there's no indication of what that's doing right there as it comes to making the rounds. But that dude, 3,200 likes on that one, but a suspiciously low amount of retweets. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, maybe Gracie May Houvier. Maybe she has some insight into this stuff. Okay, I'm 20 minutes into the first episode of the Santa Clauses, and between Scott saying Merry Christmas to all has become problematic, and the whole actually Santa, we're not allowed to say naughty anymore. It's the misunderstood list. I'm so disappointed. All right, How did this sneak onto Disney? Because it sounds like it's just kind of mocking common liberal white woman vernacular. Funny. But then some blue check mark. I don't know if you bought it or anything like that. I don't know who the fuck you are, but I don't need to take your opinion seriously because I've seen the mark of the beast on you, stupid. Another tried to give a different perspective and wrote, yeah, we already went through all this stuff. The Santa Claus's creator, Jack Burdett, did address the lightning rod line being included in the series. And he was asked by Deadline if he went back and forth on it. Oh my god, you made a hack joke from 10 years ago. How are you going to atone for your sins? He replied, yeah, we did. Can you... And again, this is why I'm thinking, it's like, how did this sneak through Disney? Okay, maybe this show is like secretly based. This is something that I just think is silly. But then I'm like, I don't know. I mean, look. We also had a joke at one point where Santa's on his rounds and they're going in for a landing and somebody's shooting something up at him. And Noel, the elf who rides with Santa, says something like, "War on Christmas." And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go that far. That's going too far. But there's also a Disney mandate on not having any guns, so that could also be a bigger part of it, but whatever. Alan, who has been the center of social media ire for years... Yeah, because he dares to think independently, and he had a #1 show. It was even on Fox. What the fuck was it called? Outnumbered or Last Man Standing? Or was that Bob Saget? Well, for him, it would be Last Man having his head caved in by a bed frame, but I think it was Last Man Standing. It was a #1 rated show, and then for whatever goddamn reason, like, it was actually drawing numbers, tangible numbers that you could pull up and see. And then it just got shelved, and it just got put onto a shitty time slot, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So you're just punishing a guy for coming out and saying that, yeah, I'm kind of a conservative. And I'm pretty sure it was on Fox, too. The fucking network is not your friend. But yes, endorsed Donald Trump and even attended the president's inauguration in 2016. Oh, he was a part of that record-setting just joking. He has previously admitted to having a huge target on his back in Hollywood due to his right-wing politics. Yep, exactly. Because there are a lot of conservatives in Hollywood, okay? It's just the only ones who are vocal about their conservative leanings. James Wood, John Voight. That's about it, at least the out and avowed ones, okay? As opposed to what? Chris Pratt. Everybody just thinks because he's very vocal, or at least somewhat vocal about his Christian beliefs that are out there. They just assume that he's conservative, and therefore they just try to take him down at any given time. But you'll notice a through line of the actual out-of-the-closet conservatives that are in Hollywood. What are they? 59, 70... 80 years old, guys with nothing left to lose, guys with established histories. And in James Woods, also a very prolific voice actor, very pointedly and very protective over his role as Hades, because he'd even come back and voice the role of Hades for Kingdom Hearts games, which is a thankless effort, and actually it's, better off for it because he's a great voice actor and hell of a fun follow on Twitter. But no, he's right, because, yeah, even saying something that is scripted for him in television or, a streaming show gets him this much pushback, this kind of activity for a simple fucking line. Oh my god, nobody was, well, actually, some people were picking this apart, but there was an actual line of script that I will never forget for hearing a trailer from fucking She-Hulk, okay? We are at the edge of a precipice. They wrote that. And that got millions of dollars of funding. We are at the edge of a precipice. We are on the edge of an edge. It's like, for fuck's sakes, okay? And that's a part of the biggest franchise in human fucking history, huh? Good stuff, okay? And nobody wanted to take that to task, okay? Outside of those fringe, radical, racist extremists that are out there. The content creators that I really like. But no, blame the actor, not the writer. This is why you will continue to get shit in Hollywood for a long fucking time. Writing itself, and then also the backlash that happened off of it, because it's a throwaway line, okay? But just to run back, some history on Tim Allen. Asked about attending Trump's inauguration by Jimmy Kimmel in 2017. Has he been invited back? I'm just wondering. He said, you get beat up if you don't believe what everybody else believes. And Jimmy Kimmel was like, oh yeah? What? You want to fight about it? Nah, but Jimmy Kimmel wouldn't fight anybody because he's a fucking bitch. This is like this is like 30s Germany. I don't know what will happen if you're part of the group. You know what we believe is right. I go, well, I might have a problem with that. I'm a comedian. I like going on both sides, he added. I literally don't preach anything. Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's vocal in his support for Trump. He attended the inauguration. Like thousands of other people did. What I've done is I've just not joined into, as I call, the we culture. I'm not telling anybody else how to live. I don't like that. That's why I like him. He's pretty based. Alan also told Fox, those who slam Trump in Hollywood are hypocrites, adding, what I find odd about Hollywood is that they didn't like Trump because he was a bully. Yeah, but if you had any of that kind of inkling that you were for Trump, you got bullied for doing that. And that's where this gets a little hypocritical for me. Exactly. And the only reason that he wasn't voicing, you cannot have a more stark contrast between Chris, we need to assemble the Avengers in order to campaign for Biden, Evans, and Tim, yeah, I went to the inauguration, Alan, over the role of Buzz Lightyear. You made the wrong decision, Disney. And I don't know if this was a make good. I don't know if this was something that was in the works for a while, but hopefully it does well. I don't know, because you guys kind of fucking need a hit, and it would be kind of a cultural shame if the over 100 years of legacy of Walt Disney ends up going down the shitter because it got too woke and went too fucking broke. But I don't know. My DVDs and Blu-rays will still work at the end of the day, so fuck it. Big ups to Tim Allen. Love the Santa Claus and love the Christmas season. So when is this supposed to come out? I think like the 29th or something like that. Yeah, we're less than a month away from Christmas. So guess what, guys? Merry Christmas. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.